Happy holidays, willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is, if you haven't guessed, another Barbie video. And it's also a holiday video. So, I have these three ornaments. And they are duplicates because I also have them on the tree. And I didn't want to put two of the same ornaments on the tree again. So, we're going to go ahead and basically switch these up a bit. So, let's go. So we're going to basically start off with this ornament. This is a reproduction of the bubble cut from 1961. The 60th anniversary came out not too long ago and they reproduced the ornament. So let's go ahead and start on her by basically priming her dress in black to give it a neutral undertone for what we're going to do later. We're still going to keep the gold theme, but I wanted to change it up and make it more Christmassy as I have two of these. I really don't need another brunette, so that's why I'm making her a redhead. And one of the few redhead ornaments that I have, so let's go ahead and have some fun. I have some nail stamps, okay? These are basically little metal, little designs that are engraved into aluminum sheets, and you basically put nail paint onto this and scrape it across. Use a pad to pick it up, and then you can put it down onto your nail or whatever you're going to design. I've had these for quite a while because I did have a phase where I was going to basically do nail art for friends. And again, it was a short hobby. But I still have them. So, some of which I've never even used. I know that I have some Christmas ones. And I have some snowflakes. So I have snowflakes. Now, the blue on top is a protector that keeps it from getting scratched up and everything. So I'm going to have to get that off, which is one of the most satisfying. So here's a little bit of okay, so here's some of the snowflakes. I'm going to use probably those, along with, I'm thinking I want to use like some kind of pattern on her dress, but what, I don't know yet. I did order some UV nail polishes for gold, silver, and I forgot the last color, but I got these on Black Friday sale. This is white, this is black, and this is gold. So, with these you do have to use a UV light. Now, my UV light is kind of, small, but again, it's only for one little nail. So, you can get this off of Amazon. Here's the model. But yeah, this is my UV light that I've had. And I did pick up another stamp kit. This one, again, on Black Friday, which basically came with two little scrapers, a small and a large. And I think the large one's going to work the best. So basically you stamp it, and then line it up and press it. And that's how you get the design from this onto that. So, now for the fun part. Figuring out what color. She's got a gold purse. So I could just go with black and gold. And I have gold right here and I have gold right here. I've never used the UV, so I guess that could be something that I could actually work on. Don't know yet. So, and that one seems a little bit more readily available, so let me go ahead and get this off. So the basic principle is to put a little bit of this UV polish onto the stamp. Then scrape the paint across it using the angle of the scraper. This will fill the little gaps of the engraving so that when you put your stamper over the top of it, it will pick up just the pattern. Then you can go ahead and place this where you need to. I'm trying to line up this little ugly sweater pattern that I had on my stencil, and basically just trying to match it up as much as I can to continue the pattern around the bottom of the ornament. There are some little places that the paint did not transfer, but that's okay. It's just an ornament. But with this paint, you do have to remember to use the UV light in order to cure it. I am going ahead and continuing to stamp all the way around this. Later on, I will pick up the small snowflakes and disperse that across the top. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in fast forward so that you can see this process, and hopefully we can get to the end so you can see it faster. Okay, I think she looks good. I think I'm going to go ahead and glue her arms on and then give her a clear coat, and then we can start on the next one. This next ornament is a reproduction of the Barbie club meeting from 1966. As you can see here, I took her arms off and then decided to go ahead and sand off the decorative element that is on the front of the dress. This gave it a smoother base to basically start sculpting the clay over the top of it, and to basically change up the style of the dress. I did keep the cowl of the dress so that it had some element of the same style from the 1960s, but I wanted to change up the whole dress. To change up the 3D element, I did use my 2-part epoxy clay. You can get this off of Amazon, or you can get it basically any hardware store. The clay basically gets mushed together, and then the two elements cause it to cure, and you don't have to bake it. It cures via chemical reaction. This process did take some time, hence why it's pretty much in fast forward, but I basically tried to sculpt ridges and folds into the clay to make it look like fabric so that it all comes up to one point, so that the bow that I'm going to put on the back of this dress will look like it's all tied together at that one point. I played around with it, mushing things and sliding things around. Again, this was just something I was playing with, and every design would be different depending if you do it or I do it. So just play around with the clay and see what you come up with. I tried to smooth this all out to make it look like it's part of the actual dress before adding the 3D element of the bow. And don't forget, you can use pretty much any tool that's going to get the job done. This is actually just a piece of metal that goes on the back of your phone where your magnet holds on to. I had it readily available and it worked. So you don't have to use expensive sculpting tools just to get something done. Again, try what you have on hand. Depending on your packaging, it can take up to 45 minutes to 24 hours to cure. Mine was done in about an hour. So just read the packaging, and then I went ahead and started doing a primer coat over the blue so that I could paint it pink. Unfortunately, the pink I chose was not the best color choice, so I ended up going with a different color of pink and went more of a baby pink than a fuchsia pink. You'll see all this in the process as it goes on with the time lapse. Seriously, I have no idea how these people do it when it comes to painting miniatures for D&D, because this is painful. And so now that she is primed, we'll let her dry, and then we'll go ahead and give her paint. I do have to clean up a little bit around the shoe because, again, painting with little tiny paintbrushes is a little harder than it looks. And here, like I said, is that god-awful pink. It did not come out the way I planned, so we're going to go ahead and keep it in the video anyways. But later on, you're going to see that I did paint over this a fourth time in a baby pink. Well, I didn't realize I just did that, so I guess I'm gonna have to change her hair color or try to match that blonde. And great. Can I just wipe it off? Hold on. Make sure that you pay attention to what paints you're using because, yeah, it could be all over your finger. But it came off with water, so we're good on that. Okay, so maybe... Let me just... Okay. I guess as long as you get acrylic while it's still somewhat tacky, or not completely dry, you can take it right off. Maybe. A little bit in the grooves. Let me get some of the flesh tone. Cover that little piece up that I can't get out. Okay, so I'm gonna let her dry and then do probably another 2 coats, and then we can go back and do the black accents. And then hopefully I can find some little gems to put along there, and I think she'll be good to go. Our arms all glued back on, and yeah, let's let her dry and I'll paint a couple more layers. Okay, so it's very late right now, but this is as good as I'm gonna get her. I may go back over the black again to try evening it up a little bit, but I think I'm going to pretty much glue the arms back on and then give it a clear coat with a matte sealer so that it knocks down some of the shine. And then I'll go ahead and glue on the rhinestones. Let's go ahead and glue her arms on. I'll see you tomorrow. So after she's completely dry, I glued on some of the nail art gems that I had left over, and I used some of the B7000 just to stick them on, and it gave it a little bit of sparkle, but I wish I would have used my AB stones because, again, they were very, very tiny and very, very dull. So, live and learn and move on. Well, it's kind of a... yeah, it's wet outside. So, I'm going to go ahead and finish my coffee and get dressed and start painting. Well, since I have my nail kit out, I might as well just, do something with this last one. and see what we can do. Now you can see here that her little detail is a little bit dirty looking, so I'm going to slide that off, which gives us a style dress like this. And I'm thinking I may still have some of the acrylic roses that I made for another project. So I'll have to go see if I can find those. But I want to do this one in a blue. Because if you've ever seen the Delphine Barbie, it has always been my favorite. Ever since the beginning. So she was one of the first in the series of Silkstones that came out. And I just love her, but I could never afford her. So maybe I can do the Delphine in this, minus the big bow that's on the back. And give this just a hint of Silkstone. So I gotta figure out how to get her arms off, which is kind of tricky because you have to like wiggle them until the glue gives way. And potentially you might break it, but you want to keep wiggling. And there's two. So that was kind of a pain. So I found the little flowers. They're actually like little polymer clay flowers, more than, you know. But there's some pink ones in there. So I'll have to like put them in a dish so I can separate them out and pick out the ones that I want to use. This one. So there's that one. I wonder if I can get it. So there's that one. I think that's a pretty good scale. That should be enough. Okay. So next step, put those off to the side. And then we go ahead and paint her. Now, obviously this is fingernail polish, so I need to figure out if this is actually going to work over the top of the pink. So it's kind of self-explanatory. Paint several layers of the fingernail polish because it is quite sheer. It did take about 6 layers, so just be patient and continue to paint. Let it dry in between layers, obviously, and you'll get full coverage. But just remember that the more layers you put, the less detail there will be because it does fill in on the blanks. So I like the fact that the fingernail polish has a self-leveling aspect to it, but I wonder if I'm gonna have to like paint it white first and then go over the top of it, because this is gonna take a lot of coats and I don't know. I'll let that dry, come back. So after letting it dry, I used a little bit of the B7000 to adhere the little polymer roses to it. I also used a little bit of the fingernail polish to adhere the flowers to it because, again, they are nail art flowers. So that's what they're basically designed to do, is to stick to the wet paint. So just be very careful and remember to do this in a well ventilated area because the fingernail polish is quite strong. And just place the flowers in an appealing design. Again, looking at your reference, I was looking at Delphine off screen to see where all of her flowers were placed. After I placed all the flowers, I did go over her with a mattifying clear coat spray to not only protect her and also knock down the sheen from the fingernail polish because it is quite shiny. But once she's completely dry, I glued her arms back on, and I guess we can go ahead and do the reveal. So, let's check it out. So hopefully you liked that video, and this is the type of content that you are interested in. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and always come back for another video. This holiday season is a little rough, but we'll make it through it. And remember, it doesn't cost too much or take too much to make the holidays special for yours and your loved ones. So come back next week where we'll have yet another maybe holiday video. Don't know yet, because the holidays are coming to an end and I'm running out of time. So come back next week and we'll see you later. Tschüssi!